Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I'm back in the gym. Finally, the first day going after my WrestleMania trip. I'm off to work. I'm going to be getting Taco Bell as normal. Give me a bean cheesy rice burrito. I got to get some gas and then clock in and work first nighttime shift in a good little while. But it was good to go back to work yesterday, get back into the shape of things, really start kicking some ass. The WrestleMania trip is still fresh in my mind. I'm still riding that high, and I'm starting to put things together to see what's going to be happening going into Extreme Rules. You have Seth Rollins is now your WWE champion. Of course, they blew off the feud with him and Brock Lesnar, with Brock Lesnar being suspended on Monday Night Raw by Stephanie McMahon for just going out there and just F5ing everyone, hitting the cameraman 3 times, going after Michael Cole, taking out Booker T and JBL. Everybody got their ass kicked on Monday Night Raw. But Brock is being sent home. More than likely will be being brought back for a big, huge SummerSlam event. Big rumors, Triple H versus Rock, Brock versus Seth. Lots of different directions that they could be going down, but of course now we have to start putting together what is going to happen at Extreme Rules. Extreme Rules, to me, you have basically a champion, you've got 2 #1 contenders, and you have to figure out what you're going to be doing with them. Honestly, in my opinion, the best situation that they could be going with is going Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. Of course, Randy Orton never got a rematch, never had a one-on-one match, never had any kind of a match going after the WWE Championship. After WrestleMania 30, losing his title to Daniel Bryan, the Authority went on and basically started doing the Evolution thing, going after the Shield for the pay-per-views after that. And even though Randy kept asking for chances to go after the championship, just kept on being put into different feuds. Of course, he had the match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, which was supposed to sort of be like a #1 contendership thing, and ended up not being it. Cena lost the championship to Brock Lesnar, which led to the rematch at Night of Champions, and whole sorts of bullshit on down the way from there, of course, with both of those guys having to take time off, with Reigns missing time due to his hernia surgery, and Orton being taken out by Rollins with the double curb stomp on Monday Night Raw. I believe he was off of television for 4 months. But Orton is in a situation where basically he beat the new champion. They do this a lot with guys who cash in, especially on the same card. You will see them lose a match, or especially lose a big match the night before, to set up who the new #1 contender is going to be. I know that everyone's looking at the direction of Roman Reigns. He got the big push by winning the Royal Rumble, being the #1 contender in the main event of WrestleMania, and all the cameras and all the bright lights were shot on this guy. And honestly, where they go from there, I have no clue. But honestly, in my opinion, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton in a 3-way for the WWE Championship has no appeal to me whatsoever. I want to see the one-on-one match. Orton still needs to get his revenge on Rollins. I know that he did get the win with the big super RKO, with reversing the curb stomp into one, with basically him, stepping up out of the curb stomp, sending Seth Rollins straight up into the air instead of sending him down, and then hitting him with the RKO on the way down. It was very impressive. It was very cool to see live. But I definitely think that, when these matches were planned out, my big question was, when is Seth going to be using that Money in the Bank briefcase? Because you would think that Orton and Rollins would be going on this sort of a 3-month long feud, what WWE does a lot. Now, that leaves Roman Reigns sitting on the outside, looking for somebody to fight. Is Triple H going to want to have another match where he sort of sees his matches at WrestleMania as something to step out of? And like last year, he fought in the next 2 pay-per-views after WrestleMania in the main events, fighting alongside Evolution. Is he going to have to fight Big Show and Kane, a match that nobody really wants to see, to make this guy continually look strong? But in my mind, you want to keep Roman strong. You don't want to see him going into matches and losing. You want to keep this guy fresh, so once it is his turn, he can go out there and he can beat somebody, become champion. I don't think there's a doubt in anybody's mind that Roman Reigns is going to be champion someday. It just wasn't his time at WrestleMania 31. I don't think that WWE wanted to see this guy put out there as winning the big one, and the fans just turning on him. And I know that you could turn the sound on and put on some YouTube music video in the background when you show this memory, down the road. But people will always remember all those 70,000 people booing the hell out of him. Roman had a lot of fans. There was a girl 2 rows behind us that was crying because he lost the match, and we sort of felt bad for her, but at the same time, it was kind of funny. But I don't know. I want to see Randy go one-on-one against Seth. What that means for Roman, I got no clue. I don't want to see him sitting on the sideline not having a match at Extreme Rules. He's got to be doing something. But we'll have to see. You got John Cena, you got Daniel Bryan with their mid-card championships. A lot more wrestling on the card now, it seems. And Extreme Rules looks like it could be a good show. Just a question mark on what is going to be the main event. Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you today, sitting here thinking all about Monday Night Raw last night and the upcoming Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Honestly, I think the card is coming together pretty well. It doesn't look like it's going to be a great A show, but definitely it's going to be a good pay-per-view that I think people really can get behind, and be glad that we have the WWE Network where we're getting this show for only $9.99, not having to pay $50 to $60 for a pay-per-view on cable television. It's been in a year now, but it's still shocking, and it still feels good to me that we get this kind of a bargain. Last night at the end of Monday Night Raw, we had the decision of Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. That's going to be the main event. And the main event stipulation that goes along with it, because of course this is Extreme Rules and every match must have a stipulation. Both guys got to choose a stipulation to add on to the match. Seth Rollins chose that he wanted to have the RKO banned. It's been a long time since I've seen Randy Orton win a match basically any other way other than using the RKO. I'm sure some people can find some matches where he schoolboyed and rolled somebody up, but I can't even really think of a submission maneuver that Randy Orton has inside of his arsenal. And then from there, Randy Orton wanted to make sure that he was going to be able to keep the Authority out of the match. Because of that, he wanted to keep J&J Security, Big Show, Kane, and others out of there. So he chose to have a steel cage match. A typical mistake from a babyface in this match, basically making it where it's going to be basically making it where it's going to be the steel cage trying to keep everyone out. I know that it's own pay-per-view, but basically he could have chose any kind of match in the world that he wanted to. If he's really trying to keep somebody out, why didn't he choose the Hell in a Cell? It just makes him look like an idiot. I know that it has its own pay-per-view. I know that having a Hell in a Cell match between Seth Rollins and Randy Orton at Extreme Rules doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it just makes him look dumb that he could have chosen any match in the world, and this is the match he's chosen. You can think of so many steel cage matches where people have climbed into the match or gone in through the door and just put a lock on it, or just the way last year's Extreme Rules cage match happened between the Wyatts and John Cena. Basically with the Wyatts coming down to ringside, scaring John Cena from exiting the cage. He wouldn't have won the match, but I guess he would have got his ass kicked. He didn't even want to jump off of the cage down onto the vintner, where he basically would have squashed the guy and laid him out. Yeah, probably would have hurt him, but he would have got the win, and he would have beat Bray Wyatt instead. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan were able to keep him inside of the cage until the point where the little boy came out and did that thing where he sang the song to John Cena with the sheep mask on, and it was a hell of a finish. It didn't really go anywhere, but at least Bray got to win a match. The last match that I can really remember him winning was that cage match in Extreme Rules last year. But Orton versus Rollins, I'm not really thinking that Orton's going to win this match, but I'm thinking that it's going to be a damn good match. And steel cage match to main event the pay-per-view, it's going to be pretty good. I got good sights on this. You got John Cena versus Rusev. They're going to be having the chain match, and you got the Wade Barrett going up against Daniel Bryan. I don't know what the stipulation of that match is. And then you got the Sheamus match where he's going to have the kiss my ass stipulation on the end. You can't go wrong with that. So Extreme Rules right up around the corner. It's going to be good stuff. Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. By the time I make this video, Monday Night Raw is finally over. Yes, it is Tuesday. Last night's Monday Night Raw felt like the longest show that I had ever watched of all time, but we were able to add a little bit more of a stipulation to the Randy Orton going up against Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. After it was all said and done, this match now has the longest stipulation time, the longest stipulation line of all time. Randy Orton versus WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. Steel cage match with the Randy Orton's RKO banned. with Kane as the guardian of the gate. Last night on Monday Night Raw, we saw the breakdown of the Authority, which a lot of people saw as coming with the weeks that Kane was running Monday Night Raw. We saw Kane and Seth Rollins really breaking down. Big Show had his own problems. He was going up against Roman Reigns. We didn't get to really see him as a part of the Authority shuffle at all. He's going to have his handful at Extreme Rules pretty much. But Hunter came out. He made his big return. That the Authority was back from vacation and basically, took Kane's side in the fight between them. Kane had a great point basically saying that Seth was handpicked to be champion. The guy should just sort of shut up and keep his mouth shut. It was Kane that actually handed him the Money in the Bank briefcase at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And then without Kane, there would be no Seth Rollins as champion. And that Seth should basically be, kissing his feet and thanking him for everything that is going on in his life right now with him being champion. Randy really is getting that first title shot in, since losing the championship at WrestleMania 30. Randy is sort of having the same thing with the match with Seth that Seth is sort of going through right now. Seth is almost going through the same storyline that Randy Orton went through when Randy won the championship after cashing in on Daniel Bryan, where basically Randy was the champion. The Authority was, doing all the dirty work for him. You kept seeing Vince and Triple H, Stephanie sending people out there to help him, win the matches to keep the title. You had Triple H basically, they had that sort of thing backstage where Triple H gave him an Escalade, and Triple H was basically saying, I bought this car with my own money. I'm giving it to you. It's like it's my car, but it's yours. And that was basically what they were saying, is that Triple H couldn't go out there and wrestle for the WWE Championship anymore, so he was giving the championship to Randy. But with Randy having the championship, it was like Triple H was champion. You should have went ahead and put the Triple H side plates on there when Randy was going down to the title. And now you've got Seth really going through the same thing. Seth is trying to say that he's the best guy in the company. He's not the future. He's the right now. People keep saying that his best stuff's gonna come down the road, but it's like, I'm giving you my best right now. And Triple H is basically saying to stick to the plan. You're better than you think you are. You need to find what's gonna get you to that next level and what's gonna get you to that next point. And it's sort of like this sort of soul storyline that we've already seen in the past. At the pay-per-view, there's no doubt in my mind that Seth Rollins is going to be keeping the championship. I think Seth's going to be keeping the title till at least SummerSlam, when we'll do Seth versus Brock Lesnar, or they might do the three-way of the WrestleMania rematch where it's Seth, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar all in the same ring all at the same time, where there's nobody running in. Well, I guess somebody could, if you think about it, because they'll have the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, so you'll have a new Mr. Money in the Bank. That would be hysterical if they had a three-way to solve what happened at WrestleMania, and then just somebody came dastardly running down with the Money in the Bank briefcase and cashed in at SummerSlam to take the championship. And now you got three guys pissed off at you instead of at SummerSlam. When Brock comes back, basically Seth's going to have two people. But then again, they've kept Roman Reigns out of the loop. He's going out there with Big Show. It seems like because he's not going after the championship and he's not in that main event slot. I know he's going up against Big Show, which does sort of turn some people away. But at the same time, he's not getting the boos. He's not getting the reaction that he got around WrestleMania. People are starting to warm up to the guy. I don't know, the whole thing that's been said for years is that, when somebody isn't handed it to him on the golden platter the first time, they're going after the championship, which doesn't really make sense because he was going after the title, I believe, at Battleground and at Money in the Bank. This is actually his third shot going after the championship. It makes you warm up to the guy more. Somebody shouldn't just be handed it to him and said, here, take the title and just run away with it. But then again, Seth, he had the Money in the Bank briefcase for a long time, but I can't really think of any title shots that Rollins had, because Rollins was sort of, going after Ambrose for all that time, so it wasn't like he was really getting it, but Rollins isn't getting the backlash. But then again, maybe people are looking at Rollins like he's not going to be the John Cena, he's not going to be the Hulk Hogan, he's just going to be the champion, and there's another champion coming. He's not going to be the figurehead of a new era like John Cena was for so long. But no doubt in my mind that Rollins is going to win this match. Randy is probably going to get cheated out of this somehow. You got Kane on the outside. Even Rollins was trying to stick it to the point that this is a cage match. Nobody can get in. Anybody can get in a cage match. That's why it didn't make sense that Orton didn't want to have a Hell in a Cell, which had a lid on top of the cage. Plus it's a little bit bigger, but then again, the Hell in the Cell hasn't really done a great job of keeping people in or out of the match. We've seen 1,000 different ways to get out. We've seen Kane come down and just rip the door off. We've seen guys come down and cut the lock off. All sorts of things. So we're gonna have to see. Sunday's gonna be the pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. It's gonna be here before you know it. Fun times up ahead. So we'll see what's going down in wrestling. I got an unboxing coming up for you tonight. Good old WrestleMania 31 stuff. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit, and I'll see you guys down the road. Main event time. I know that WWE Extreme Rules 2015 is built all around stipulations. Every match has to have a stipulation. That way it keeps you more interested, and directly it becomes a pay-per-view that you have to order. But the steel cage match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship with Kane as the gatekeeper with the RKO band is way too long for the title of a match. I know that 2 of the stipulations were able to be added by the contestants inside of the match on Monday Night Raw a few weeks ago. Both contestants were able to add a stipulation onto the match, and Seth Rollins stepped up to the plate and said, this is easy. He's going to ban the RKO because the RKO is Randy Orton's greatest weapon. I asked it in a video where I talked about the match, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, asking for any way that Randy Orton has won a match in his career not winning the RKO, not using the RKO, and was unable to find an answer. I can't remember of Randy hitting any other move in order to grab a pin. The RKO is one of the most exciting moves in all of wrestling. You can watch a Monday Night Raw from Monday. Randy Orton taking out Heath Slater. Randy Orton taking out The Miz. Randy Orton finally hitting the RKO on Seth Rollins. Was really, really must-watch TV. It was the biggest things that happened with Monday Night Raw. I said that, honestly, Randy Orton hitting the RKO on Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania when he put him through the announce table, honestly, to me, killed a little bit of that match. But this match is a WrestleMania rematch. This match does have a little bit more on the line. Seth Rollins, of course, at WrestleMania 31, cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, just hours after losing to Randy Orton, where Seth Rollins looked like he was going for the curb stomp, and at the time he was hitting the curb stomp, Randy raised out of his position, shooting Seth Rollins up into the air, only for him to fall down into an RKO. Definitely one of the most impressive RKOs we've seen from Randy. We've seen him, turn a lot of people's finishers. We've seen him hit Evan Bourne, flying off the top rope, being able to jump up and hit that into an RKO. Lots of memorable ones, but that's a very big one. And because it happened on the WrestleMania stage, it's going to be one that we remember for a long time. Lots of times we've seen guys cash in the championship and lose the match before cashing in, sort of making the guy that they had a feud with at that time the new number 1 contender, to sort of add something to that feud as well. Brock Lesnar was going to be leaving. He had to go sit in the woods and hunt bears and stuff, whatever Brock Lesnar does. Sit around with Sable and make more kids, I guess. But Roman Reigns, I guess, pretty much got sent back down to developmental, having a match against the Big Show, and what is that, Last Man Standing, a match that nobody really cares about. Randy finally getting that WrestleMania WWE Championship rematch that he's been looking for ever since WrestleMania 30, since losing to Daniel Bryan. He's in the main event again. That's definitely a spot that Randy Orton wants to be in. To me, Randy's always just sort of been a little bit boring, but the guy is a fan favorite. He sells lots of t-shirts. There's always lots of fans yelling and screaming and loving this guy. He's just not for me. That's why they make 1,000 different wrestlers, because not everybody's going to like everybody that's out there. When they were picking stipulations, Randy Orton said that he wanted this match to be a cage match, a move that I was honestly very against, because what Randy is trying to do is take J&J Security out of the match. J&J Security has been involved in all of Seth Rollins' matches since they've been hired to be, bodyguards of Seth Rollins. They're always jumping into the ring and having a steel cage in between is going to be able to keep them out of the action. Honestly, in my mind, if you want to keep guys out, you got to go Hell in the Cell. With that top on there, people aren't going to be able to climb over the top and get in. And I know that there have been Hell in the Cell matches where people have found a way to get in, whether it's Kane ripping the door off, or maybe Mick Foley throwing himself through the chain link of the actual Hell in the Cell. But definitely the Hell in the Cell has a better chance of keeping somebody out of it rather than anything else. But these guys are going to get in there, and no doubt in my mind they're going to be able to go. Hopefully it doesn't turn out like the last time Rollins was involved in a steel cage when he tried to enter at the last moment and was almost impaled by a large stake on live television. That wasn't good. Randy Orton, a 12-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He knows his way around the ring. He knows the way around Seth Rollins. He's been able to beat this guy once before, but will he be able to do it on the main stage? Definitely with the Authority being able to be ringside, as Kane is now the guardian of the gate. Kane and Seth Rollins have not been seeing eye to eye. Hell, Kane and Big Show have not even been able to be seeing eye to eye. Win, lose, or draw, you got to be thinking that with the Roman Reigns versus Big Show match, he might not be able to answer the 10 count, but I'm sure that the Authority is going to be in the back. They'll be waving some smelling salts under the Big Show's nose, making sure he's able to get up and out to the ring. Hell, the Authority might even be bringing in other people to be a part of this match, seeing how they want to keep this title on Seth Rollins so bad. And I'm thinking that they're going to be doing it. Honestly, Seth Rollins is my pick. It is going to be a very must-see match for the one reason of how Seth Rollins is going to be able to beat Randy Orton. Do you really want to screw Randy Orton over, and just sort of have him be that babyface is good, but not able to get it done? It seems like they've got so many of those baby faces under the roster. Is that going to make people want to stay involved with this storyline and see if they have a rematch at Payback down the road? Some talks about maybe doing this as a three-way, adding Roman Reigns, having him get back into the championship picture after WrestleMania 31. Lots of questions to be answered. That's why we're going to be watching this whole deal. And honestly, to me, like I said at the beginning, this pay-per-view looks like it's going to have some good matches. This pay-per-view has definitely some matches that I just really don't care about. I'm hoping the build to Payback is going to be better than the build to Extreme Rules, but I'm definitely very thankful that this is going to be on the WWE Network for only $10. I know that I'm going to get my money's worth for this alone. I was watching, Rockin' Wrestling, one of the old 80s cartoons the other day, plus I'm sure that I'll watch an old Extreme Rules pay-per-view in the upcoming days before Extreme Rules. WWE Network. Best $10 that I spend monthly. Thank you very much, WWE. Very good pay-per-view coming up. I'm going to be pumped.